Hey everybody, it's Joe Richardson here. I wanted to talk about the Georgia-Florida game and what's to come for Missouri, or what to expect from the Missouri game. First of all, Georgia again beats Florida. I think it's the third straight time Georgia has beaten Florida, and that keeps the SEC East alive for Georgia with that win over Florida. And it ended up being like 13-3 at halftime, and it started off with a field goal, and then Florida obviously is being stopped, and Georgia was in control, converting their downs throughout the game. But yeah. So anyways, Florida, they had Georgia for a while there didn't have any penalties to start with, and Florida had 3 for 25 yards at one point. Yeah, and I think eventually the penalties came for both teams, but I think Florida had more at the end of the day. So let's say, so Georgia kicks a 31-yard field goal to give up 3-0. The next score, so it's a back and forth, it's mostly 3-0, then Georgia moves the ball pretty well, and there is a questionable catch by Cager whether the ball had hit the ground or not and caused him to get control. Even if it was a controversial catch, the officials reviewed it and said it was good, and that was a third down conversion as well, and it could have been the field goal team that went on the field at that point. But anyways, so with that said, Georgia doesn't score again until it's 3rd and goal, and a 3-yard pass to Dominic Blaylock a 3rd down pass to Dominic Blaylock, 3rd and goal, 3-yard pass for touchdown. So Jake Fromm again, he throws a TD pass again, and Blaylock, that'd be his only catch of the game, but it was a touchdown, and Georgia would again settle for a field goal. I'm trying to think, did Florida kick a field goal? No, I think either Georgia kicked. I think it's 10-0, and Florida moves down the field and has to settle for a field goal, which goes through the upright. So there's that. So Georgia moves down the field again, but has to settle for a field goal, and Florida gets the ball again, but Trask, the quarterback, decides to take a knee. He didn't do terrible by any means. He didn't connect with many receivers, mostly his tight end and mostly one of the wide receivers. But Trask, he didn't do too bad himself. And I'll go through the numbers of Fromm in a minute. But yeah, the running attack for both teams were pretty dead in the first half. Swift actually got had 56 rushing yards at halftime, or something like that. So yeah, so it's 13-3 at halftime, and so the second half begins, and Georgia's got the ball first because they kicked off to Florida to start the game, and Fromm converts another third down to Harrion. Harrion had 46 yards receiving, despite only rushing for 13 on 7 carries. So his reception yards per reception looked better than his yards per carry today. Maybe scouts will see that he is a back that can play in the NFL, even if he's more of a receiving back. Although he can run too, it's just he didn't run well in the Florida game. usually the arms of the quarterbacks have to decide the game in the recently. But Fromm so far has beaten Florida in his career, so if you want to look at stats, I mean, I will tell you that soon. So Georgia gets up 16-3, but I think I forget how the scoring goes, but I do know that Florida scores. Kyle Trask throws a TD, and it's like, is it 17-10 or was it? I think it was 16. Was it 16-10 at one point? I don't know, but I just know that the final ended up being, it was 24-10, and then Florida scored late, but it was a little too late when they scored that second TD, also thrown by Kyle Trask. I think he threw 2 touchdowns. I think Kyle Trask threw for 2 TDs and no interceptions. Fromm went 20 for 30, 279 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions. He also carried the ball 3 times for 12 yards, didn't even take sack yardage. So all 3 of his runs were for positive yardage. And Fromm ain't a dual threat, and he ain't really a fast runner. He just makes, when he takes off, it's usually when he has an season opening, and he tries to get as much as he can. He's not a dual threat, and he's not really a running QB. He just runs when he has to, but he has to be careful not to take too much hits. Which he was tackled from behind on one of his runs that looked like a first down, but ended up being a yard short, which I think they ended up converting anyways. But Cager, he had a good day catching the ball. 7 catches for 132 yards and a 52-yard TD catch. Some of that was yards after catch. But it was a pretty good throw, and then Cager did the rest. So Jake Fromm did show some downfield throwing ability in this game. And that maybe the scouts will see that he can make some downfield throws. And he's also been played by drops when he's thrown the ball downfield. But I mean, Landers dropped one that could have been a touchdown, but Landers is a big guy, but he just needs to work on catching the ball better and blocking better, because one of Swift's TD runs got called back because Landers held on the play. And Mullen complains about officiating, but UGA did have one of their touchdowns called back. But it ended up being 24-17. It was actually only a 7-point game, but Florida scored their second touchdown without much time left in the game, so it was kind of a long shot for Florida to get the ball back. I mean, with Georgia converting a third down, Florida wasn't going to get the ball back. Eli Wolf and Warner both had 2 catches for 20-something yards. One of them had 20 yards. Wolf, I think, had 26 yards or something like that. So they both had at least 10 yards a catch, but the tight ends haven't been used as much since Kirby's been the coach. I know Mark Richt, his last year, I don't think he was using the tight ends quite as much either. So that's that. But I will say, Swift ended up with 86 rushing yards on 25 carries, only 3.4 yards a carry average, but they outrushed Florida, and that's what it was a key thing too, is whoever outrushes the other team usually wins the game. And third down conversions, which Georgia converted a lot of, helped them win the game too. So good job to Fromm, Cager, Swift, and the rest of the guys, the linemen. They played pretty well. But, yeah, Blankenship went 3 for 3 on field goals. That was great. But, anyways, let's just say that, that's over with. Maybe Georgia has control over whether they go to the SEC championship game or not. They just need to win out and hope they do. Next game, Missouri. Kelly Bryant, who transferred out of Clemson last year and was looking for a new school to go to, Pitt, Missouri. There is a chance that he might not play, though. So I don't know who their backup is because I don't watch Missouri. I haven't seen their backup. I don't know who's going to start if Kelly Bryant doesn't go. I just know that Drew Lock is now in the NFL with the Broncos. I'm not sure if he's even gotten to play yet because he started the season injured. And Flacco hasn't been pretty consistent, so will Lock basically get the job? If Flacco keeps doing terrible, well, we'll see. But that's a former Missouri QB who's now in the NFL. So with Lock on, it made sense to get Kelly Bryant, who's a proven veteran college QB. And I think he's done pretty good, but, I mean, they're not a terrible team, but I think Georgia can beat them. Whether Kelly plays or not, I still think Georgia can win, but they're gonna really have to play like they played against Florida. They need to have some heart and go out there and get the W. I don't really know much about this year's Missouri team, but I do believe Georgia can beat them. I mean, Missouri lost to Vanderbilt. I mean, it was only a 7-point loss, but if Vanderbilt's not even that good, and Missouri actually had a better record, so it's like, wow. So Georgia should be able to win, but it's a different week. It'll be a different day, different week. Who knows what Missouri's going to come out with, and can Georgia stop it? I think so, but we'll see. Alright, so not much else to say. It was great that Georgia beat the Gators again. I mean, Mullen's a good coach, and I gotta give credit where it's due. He knows how to coach his guys up. It's just, he's not beating Georgia. Urban Meyer owned Georgia, but, when Mullen was offensive coordinator, they were beating Georgia. But now that he's head coach and he ain't offensive coordinator, you wonder if he's got the right play callers on his team, or if he's calling the plays correctly, or if he just doesn't have a Tiva-like guy. Which Trask is a good runner. He's had a bad knee. His knee got injured earlier in the season, but he didn't really do a lot of running in the game, and if he did, he probably didn't get much yardage. So that's the thing. If you're a good running quarterback, Georgia can answer to you if they get to you. Trask got hurt with sack yardage, though. Emory Jones only went out for one and QB run, and he only picked up 2 on that. 2 or 3, I think. Didn't look like he got much. But anyways, as far as the Dogs go, hopefully they beat Missouri and keep their SEC East hopes alive. Missouri's not a team to sleep on, and I sure hope that Georgia is ready to play Missouri and get another W. Alright, so anything else I want to add? Yes, I was Pennywise for Halloween. If you're on my Facebook and you're a friend of mine, you probably saw the pictures. And I went to the region championship game Friday at Cook County Stadium and saw my Chris County Cougars win their 4th straight region championship. So that's some extra stuff I wanted to throw in there. And thanks to everybody who made last week and last weekend great for me. I love every one of y'all, and everyone who views this, I love you guys too. And thank you so much. And I hope to see you again, and I hope you tune in next week. Goodbye.